Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sigma Swag Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Rattle Energy, rattleenergycompany.com. Check them out. They got some cool apparel. They have coffee, energy drink, hats, and most importantly, the owner is a rock star.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we touched on everything important. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
We're going to
All
play that song, that rap song. This is the next episode. That could be our theme song.
Oh, Dr. Dre and Eminem.
Yeah. So anyways, what's up, everybody? We're back, and today we're going to be talking about something that's been going around here a lot lately. We're going to actually start covering a lot more current events and stuff.
We're talking about the moon.
Yeah. Talking about the moon.
Gravity.
And how the Earth's not flat.
Gravity holds me down against my will. We're gonna sue the moon. Has anyone ever thought of that?
You can't sue the moon.
You can sue anyone today.
The moon's not in anyone.
I wouldn't be surprised to go so far as to say
this is what happens when he drinks too much.
You can sue yourself in 2024. I wouldn't think about it. Think about it. Say you have a split personality. You go to the doctor. Or better yet, what if you become transgender and you want to sue your previous self?
You can't.
Because I was a man before that used to jack off, but now I'm a woman. So my past self used to inappropriately touch me. Think about it. It's like you're getting your money back. All you had to do is cut off your pee-pee.
You never paid your money?
All you have to do is cut off your pee-pee. Okay. Cut off your pee-pee.
Stop
and it's a big
talking about
payday.
wieners.
This is actually...
this is normal.
It could be where the world could be headed.
It is where the world
You want
headed.
a settlement, they'll pay you to cut off your pee-pee. Actually, they kind of already do that. Because they offer you the surgery for free.
Do they really offer the surgery for free?
A lot of places
I
do.
didn't know
Or
that.
like different organizations.
I would never give this little guy up for free. Sorry.
I wouldn't call it little.
Well,
You're
look,
insulting the family genetics.
I mean, if I say he's little, then people are like, oh, yeah, he's probably not little. But if I say it's huge, they'll be like, oh, yeah, this dude's lying.
Or you can take the Muhammad Ali approach.
What's that?
What is that? You say that you're saying he has a saying. It's called "I'm going to pressure wash your cervix." Is that right?
That's not Muhammad. What kind of
No. It is because he used to run his mouth and talk crap, but then back it up.
Oh yeah. I do say I'm gonna pressure wash your cervix.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
so what kind of work do you do? Oh, I run a pressure washer. Yeah, I'm a pressure washer.
I'm a pressure washer. All right. So we're gonna be talking about this solar eclipse that's coming up on
April 8th.
April 8th. April 8th. So look, there are these two movies that we all like to quote back and forth. Number one is Napoleon Dynamite. Number two is Employee of the Month. So if we say something that doesn't make sense like that right there, just go watch one of those two movies and you'll figure it out.
It'll make perfect sense.
It will.
Our whole lives will make sense. Not really.
No, none of it. But anyhow, so we noticed that there was a lot of people talking about this big event that's coming up. A lot of weird stuff kind of happening in and around the time that it's going to happen. And that I discovered in the course of looking into it and listening to people run their mouths on TikTok about it. So we thought that it'd be cool to discuss a little bit and just that's kind of what we're gonna do. So
give us the history.
So what is kind of significant about these eclipses, right? Solar eclipses aren't very common. Lunar eclipses are a whole lot more common. But biblically speaking, God has used these to speak and to show, warnings or things like that in the past. A lot of times they will foreshadow future events. And what's kind of significant about the last one that we had is that it was 7 years ago, and it crossed through 7 cities in the United States that were named Salem. And Salem means peace. So pretty much what that was signifying was that there would be 7 years of peace. And unless you've experienced war like you would understand, like the last 7 years have been extremely peaceful. A couple other interesting things are where that previous eclipse ended in the United States. It was where the first Civil War began. It was at Fort Sumter. Now this next one that's on the way is 7 years, past that, and it's crossing over 7 cities or towns named Nineveh. And what we know about Nineveh, obviously, from the story of Jonah in the Bible, is that God sent a warning to Nineveh because they had become extremely wicked, and he gave them 40 days to repent, and if they did not repent within 40 days, they would be destroyed. And given the climate in the United States today with everything that's going on, it's clear to see that we've all fallen away and turned from God. This country has become extremely wicked. And, even in the Bible, it says there will be signs in heaven about the end times, that sort of thing. I don't think it would be smart to discount or to ignore this eclipse because it's definitely significant. All those number sevens are extremely important because when God speaks to people, it's in sevens, apparently.
Sevens is a number of perfection. It's God's number. That's why it's 777 is God's number of perfection. The devil is right behind him at. I'm not going to say it on the podcast.
Might jinx ourselves. But yes. And my brother pointed out the other day that where this one begins in the United States is where the previous Civil War ended. So it's kind of interesting how the first one ended where the Civil War began, and this one is beginning where the Civil War ended. And given the climate in the country today, everybody who is even halfway pay attention knows that we are headed directly for another civil war. There's all kinds of retarded stuff going on, government corruption, sneaking in enemy soldiers at the border. All this stuff's happening.
I think it'll be a war between people that cut their PPs off and people that didn't. I think there's one clear winner.
One clear wiener.
One clear wiener. One clear wiener. I love it.
All right. So, I can't deal with you.
One clear wiener. I mean, the wiener is Juan.
Will you just stay on topic?
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So this is where we're at. And, it hasn't escaped our attention that once these two recent eclipses have happened, it's going to kind of be like a gigantic X right in front, like right over the United States.
Where is the point of the center of the X as opposed to where the first one traveled to and then the second one? At what town
where they
are they
intersect?
going to cross?
I think it's someplace in Missouri.
X marks a spot.
Yep. And it's just really weird, that I guess there's a lot of specialty National Guard units that are getting deployed at that spot on that day.
What's the point in having the National Guard there? Like, what do they think the moon is going to fall and they're going to be there to catch it?
I have no idea why they would feel the need to put the National Guard, but they're bringing in like several hundred extra state police for the event. All the schools are out that day. Like all kinds of stuff.
Maybe they think it's an unsafe space for the students. Like it's going to be dark and there's no night lights.
I don't know, but like there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Like
the world in general is strange. Like used to, it would be like a thunderstorm and you go to school. Now they call school off like at the first sight of a thunderstorm cloud.
Seems like it.
It's like just strange. A lot of even like work now. Ever since COVID was definitely intentional, and there's a lot of stuff I think that we haven't put the pieces together on fully yet. But as more things unfold, we'll be able to pinpoint those easier. But like a lot of businesses, people will work from home like 2 to 3 days a week and come to the office like maybe Monday through Wednesday. Oh, well, Thursdays and Fridays we work from home. Just it was done on purpose, but we need to decipher why. Like they want everybody contained. They want like what 75% of cars to be electric
Do they really? Is that the
by a certain year. Yeah. Well, have you noticed that a lot of these cars are going electric?
yeah.
Like I'm out west a lot, and that's where a lot of this stuff starts. Like I've seen the Tesla trucks. I've seen, the electric Ford F-150s, just a lot of these things, and the range is awful. And if there's no power, there's no way to charge it. Like it's just basically giving them the keys to control you even more.
That's how I see
When you're choosing to drive an electric vehicle, which is also gay, like it's like
weird and gay.
like all you hear is just tires. Like I want to hear the roar and thunder of an American muscle V8 engine. Like give me that.
That's where it's at.
Big dick energy. It like roars and growls. It's like a bear.
Not like a little anime character.
It's like that's what a gay electric car sounds like. Weird and gay.
That really is where it's headed though, because I really believe that here pretty soon a lot of things that people don't pay attention to are gonna start happening when they don't expect it. Because I've noticed like this time around, everybody in the past has heard all sorts of things about this is supposed to happen, that's supposed to happen, and everybody was like paid attention. They made preparations sometimes depending on what it was. And this time, there are very, very few people, it seems, that are actually taking it seriously and like being prepared. And most people are like, oh well, we'll see.
Don't you think that's actually a very smart strategy though?
No, it's not. I think that you should be prepared.
No, that's not. You missed what I just said.
What's a smart strategy?
I'm not talking about the good
The
guys. I'm
reaction.
talking about the bad guys. So if I'm going to do
yeah.
something and I have a master plan that's going to unfold over the course of 30 years or however long, I leak a little bit out about what I'm going to do. And the stuff that leaks out may be extremely outrageous. And what do you call it? It's unreasonable.
Mm-hmm.
It's so unreasonable that it's almost believable, but it's mostly not believable. So if you allow a little bit to leak out, that's extreme. People are just going to be like, whatever. No.
Yeah, they're not.
And then you're going to feed it to them over the course of however long, and they're almost going to be numb to it. That way, when the small little steps that have to take place before that big event can occur, they don't even realize it because they're numb to this bigger, outlandish, crazy stuff that when, to get to that big final picture takes, A through Z. So as everything unfolds, they're like, I keep hearing this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like you've arrived. It's if you're going down the interstate, you pass, all these exits and all these towns. But then all of a sudden, you're in New York City.
Yep. And it happens.
So it's tactical.
And I think that's exactly what they've done, because I'm seeing now that, because I pretty much have that same approach, because I know a lot of these things are always up in the air until the very last second. So I don't think you should be like years ago when that dude predicted that when the rapture would be, people were selling their homes and doing this and doing that. And I'm just like, man, like that's stupid. But it really has alarmed me this time because of all these other things going on surrounding kind of the next 2 to 3 months, that people are just like, like I 100% would push people and all of you to be prepared as much as you can, but live your lives as if nothing will happen. But we're seeing people are just kind of complacent about it, and it's been interesting because if it were just like one thing, I wouldn't really pay as much attention. But we're seeing where they're putting the National Guard at the X marks a spot place. There have been massive firings in the military chain of command
In California.
and what's going on in California, this is all unconfirmed. I just saw several people post on TikTok about this stuff, where a lot of the home insurance companies, the companies that do home insurance, have completely canceled people's home insurance and stuff like that. Just very recently, very suddenly, and without any real explanation, a lot of like big name stores and businesses completely shipped all of their merchandise out. They closed down their places of business, and everybody pulled out of California. So,
Which, I mean, you could look at that from a few different standpoints. The first, most obvious one is that California sucks.
yeah,
And it's becoming weird and gay.
yeah, it's been weird and gay.
One of my coworkers, two of them actually, were recently in California, and they said it was cool to go on Venice Beach and to go through Hollywood and all these other places and see the movie stars and all the people that are just regular people. Honestly, they all shit out of an asshole just like the rest of us. Same thing. They all shit. But California sucks as a state because they're extremely liberal, and if you want to talk about someone that's constricted people's freedoms more than any other state, I think the complete opposite of California, if anyone knows anything about, different states' jurisdictions and things that are acceptable in one state, not in the other, the opposite of California is Texas, I believe. I think Texas is an extremely free state.
Probably they're freer.
Yeah. But probably Texas may be the complete
Maybe
opposite.
Alaska.
Maybe. I don't know much about Eskimos. But one thing you said that I thought was interesting was being prepared and not taking what's going on lightly. I think there's two ways to look at that. One, you can look at it from a point of fear. They want you to be afraid. They want you to react like those people did that sold their homes because they thought the rapture was going to happen. A emotional decision is never a good one, ever,
right.
ever. God gave you emotions, and He also gave you what's the word? What do men have that women don't? They're rational. Logic, yeah. There's logical decisions and then emotional. You have both. I believe that when one wears out, then you can lean on the other to get through something hard that you believe in. Like, let's say you want to start a business, and it's very difficult, and you have it worked out logically, but when you reach the end of that and it doesn't make any more logical sense, but you believe in it solely in your heart, then you can rely on emotion to drive you through to the next step. This is on a Jocko podcast. I learned some of this.
He said to rely on emotion.
When you believe in, when something doesn't make logical sense to continue, but you believe in, the end result and getting there. Just like, for a good example would be Elon Musk.
I guess I've always thought of emotions differently. I wouldn't consider,
not when
faith being an emotion.
Well, not when they're.
I would say belief is more of like a resolution, not an emotion. Because emotion, what I know of emotions is that a lot of times, like, they're there for, certain things, but a lot of times they can be liars. Like, if it doesn't make any logical sense to continue, your emotions would probably be telling you, just get out of it, whatever. But in your heart, your belief, your resolution to carry this through is what you would lean on. I don't think that that's a good analogy as far as, like, saying emotion. I would say being resolute about it.
Well, he also preaches about stifling your emotions and being able to control your emotions too. So I think let's not leave that out. I'm glad you brought that up, because we don't want to.
People who are ruled by their emotions are extremely
weak,
wishy-washy.
They're a feather in the wind, and they're ungrounded. But no, I think when you have the ability to control your emotions, and when something that you believe in that is right, let's say that too, that you're trying to do or achieve or accomplish, I think that, if it doesn't logically make any more sense, you can rely on, you can be angry and use that anger and to turn that into willpower and discipline.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's a fine line. I think it could get very hairy if for the wrong person who is already undisciplined. But for a disciplined individual, I think that they would know how to, go from mono to stereo and kind of, use both of those to continue to propel them forward.
How to employ their emotions properly.
Right, yeah.
That's the key.
But I said all that to say that it never pays to be fear-driven and not to do anything, no knee-jerk reactions.
Don't do anything rash, pretty much.
Don't do anything Joe wouldn't do.
That's right.
That's terrible. Terrible advice.
But that's what I found was very interesting. Cheers. Is that you got not only this warning coming through in the form of this eclipse, but you've also got, all of this stuff going on at the border, all of these things going on in California that's really strange. You've got high-ranking military people being fired and relieved of their commands. I'm sure a lot of people who are paying attention have noticed that 2 high-ranking Marines out in School of Infantry, what was it? I think it was West.
Yep.
Were relieved of their commands. I've heard of ships being relieved of their commanders, submarines, their commanders have been relieved and fired.
Under the Biden administration.
Yeah.
That tells me that they were probably good, strong leaders that they felt threatened
and
by.
I think it's on this time because I recently had a discussion with a dude that was doing some work overseas, and he came back and we had a little discussion about it. And I had, already kind of I know what's going on. I stay informed, and he met up with me and sort of told me, it's in the next couple months, it's all about to go down, more or less. But again, all that's subject to change. Everything's always up in the air until it's not. So we'll see what happens, but it pays to be prepared. Because if it were just 1 or 2 things, I would be like, well, let's just see. But with all this stuff going on at the same time, it really does look like everything's in place and they're getting ready for something big to go down. So,
yep. So live your life, have fun, do the best you can, but be prepared. That's the main thing. Don't get caught with your pants down and your weenie out because they might chop it off.
They might. I mean, I've been expecting this stuff for, a decade now. And here recently, I know that the time has been getting close, so I've just been kind of enjoying myself just a little bit more because I know that soon I'm not going to. I've been eating donuts here and there. I don't overdo it because I still need to be in shape, but
unprepared.
I've been chilling. I've been hanging out, been having fun, been riding my bikes.
Unprepared.
I'm not unprepared.
Unprepared, riding your bike.
I'm not unprepared.
I hope you're riding your bike with your AR-15 strapped behind you just in case.
I don't.
Unprepared.
I probably should. Well, I have a handgun.
I ride mine with my sword.
I'm always strapped.
Like a ninja.
I'm gonna.
Man, you could modern day duel.
I'm gonna carry a bow staff on the back of my bike. Where you're like, whoosh.
Ha! What if we could duel each other like that?
Like a modern version of jousting.
Exactly.
Get a little choked up there, buddy.
No, I just tears of joy from being able to shoot my AR at some kook.
So, for all of you that care, I think it'd be a really good time now, if you haven't already done so, to make sure that you've got some food stashed away. You've got a rifle that you're proficient with. You got a respectable amount of ammo for that rifle. You educate yourself in first aid techniques as far as learn how to stop bleeding, how to deal with, injuries and wounds, that sort of thing. If you got medicine, I would say make sure that you have a decent supply of whatever medicine that you need to take. And then there's just normal stuff too.
Just
like
normal survival skills.
Boo-boo kits, make sure you got Band-Aids and antibiotic ointment, stuff like that. Regular medicine for when you get sick. Because if this when the power grid goes down, it's going to be pandemonium because it's probably not going to come back up for a protracted period of time. And that alone is going to just send most people into panic mode because most people can't fend for themselves. They can't live without the grocery store. So there's going to be people, that don't have their electronic devices, to keep them sedated.
Thought about these losers that they have a breakdown when their game pauses or freezes or they can't play it or they get their Xbox taken away. What are they going to do?
For all of you people that had a bad day when AT&T and Verizon went down, you're who we're talking to.
You're going to be very sad.
Sad and weird and gay. It's going to be terrible, though.
It wasn't even that. Actually, I didn't even realize that it went down. And I have AT&T.
When Facebook went down, I really didn't even – I didn't care. Like, Facebook went down, too, and I was like, meh.
And everyone was scared. Now people are talking about having to get a real job, all these creators, because they're possibly the talk about banning TikTok.
Oh, let's talk about that real quick. So, all this nonsense about banning TikTok is, like, the reason they're wanting to ban TikTok ahead of all this going on. And if you'll notice, too, a lot of states are really pushing the gun control legislation right now. A lot. They have got to disarm America as much as possible because we're the most strapped country on earth, thank God. So everybody right now is pushing for that so hard. And they're trying to get rid of TikTok. And, okay, I didn't get on TikTok for the longest time because whenever I would see somebody on it, it was always some dude at work, and there was nothing but, like, half-naked women on there. And I'm just like...
It's just thirst traps.
Yeah, I'm just like...
And actually, a lot of it's still like that. I know people that are past their 30s that get on there and they do these little dances and, oh, look at all my followers. Like, what a waste of time. Like,
well, that's like exactly why I never got on it.
12-year-old girls do.
Yeah, like that's exactly why I never got on it. But the girl that I was dating last year said, well, it's kind of what you make of it. It's whatever you look up and what you watch. I was like, all right. So I got on there. I tried it out. And, like, the things that I'm interested in are, you know,
gay.
Business and money and
gay
stuff like that. Will you? I'll slap the straight out of you. But
dang,
jeez. I noticed that there's a lot of good information on there about business, about making money, a lot of stuff that gets out as far as, like, the government's concerned, things like that. And the government don't like that because they're getting exposed through it and they can't control it. So obviously they're going to want to ban it. You know what I mean?
They're going to want to say that it's bad.
Yeah,
and
it's a good way that people communicate now. Like, all these things about what's going on in California, everything. It's word of mouth now. That's how people communicate, especially since they've lost faith in
fake news.
The fake news, exactly.
Thanks to Donnie T.
Our boy Donnie T's coming back, baby. Maybe. It might not matter here after about 3 months.
Yeah. No, but if they do silence TikTok, then what does that mean? That means that most people will then resort back to Facebook and YouTube.
Rumble.
And who runs Facebook? Well, no, Rumble is good. Yeah. Rumble, they will never censor anybody, whether they agree with what they have to say or not.
Yeah.
But it's sponsored by 1775 Coffee. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
They were liberal. Not. That's a joke. I'm being sarcastic. But that is like ultra pure American spirit right there. Like, you can say whatever. I might not agree with you for being weird and gay and cutting off your pee-pee. But, I mean, here's a platform that we won't tailor regardless. Isn't that interesting, though, that the platform owners, the people that funded this and started this, disagree with the homosexuals and all that other weird shit, but they're going to still allow them to have that platform.
And that is exactly what it means to have the First Amendment. Yep. And that's why Mark Zuckerberg and all these other fairies that have all these platforms out there
baskets
that censor stuff, that's why they're wrong. Because it doesn't matter what you post, you can say whatever you like, and you can get away with it. As long as
be able to.
As long as you do no harm, like what Zuckerberg does, what Facebook does, Instagram, all this stuff that gets censored, all that is highly illegal. Like, you can't do that. I'm surprised there hasn't been a massive. Well, I know why there hasn't.
I'm sure there's been lawsuits.
I know why there hasn't been, but the elite, you know, that's their boy right there. They're using these platforms to get information about people, and they're not gonna punish, you know, the site for doing that.
They're not going to punish their messenger because he's their little he's their little peon. Little Zuck is Zuck the cuck.
Little Zuck. We should start calling him that.
You know what's funny though? He's like, a very rich, powerful man. You throw him in the woods. Throw him in the woods with nothing but the shirt on his back. Throw someone like me or Joe in the woods.
Throw one of us in the same
you're
woods.
on an island, and you have to build shelter and then try to survive. Like, who do you think is going to win?
We'll be king, and he'll be cooking us dinner.
Yeah. Like, all those... For every like that he banned, he gets a stone. It's just like the old days. You know how they used to stone people? Can you imagine a death by stoning?
Getting stoned meant something totally different back then.
It did. Yeah. Now it's something that people look forward to. Like, hey, let's go get stoned, man. Can you imagine if people went back in time and then everyone's talking about getting stoned just to feel like, oh, what? they start sprinting towards their cave because they don't want to be stoned.
That would be a pretty funny thing to watch, I think.
That's crazy, though, how much things have changed. Even the definition and the meaning of words now are just something completely different. And, I mean, that's been like that since the beginning of time, though. Like, it's just stuff like the new... I never thought I would be the person to say it, but the way that the kids nowadays talk is so... I don't understand, like, Riz or...
And all this weird stuff.
I don't even know what this stuff is.
Riz and Cap and...
Sounds like jizz.
I know it
must be gay.
Maybe just like a little bit, yeah.
There's a little influence of gay.
You ever notice how things are starting to be opposite too? Like obviously, like good has become bad, and what was bad has now become good and acceptable.
But the actual language,
like even like
lingo.
like goat, the word goat, like obviously like goat has always meant like
greatest of all time.
No, that's not what it's always been, but that's what it means now.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
like being a goat back in the day used to be like you were the bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the Bible talks about like the sheep and the goats. Like the goats are bad, the sheep are good. But now they've changed the meaning of the word goat to make it be on the other
he's
side
the
of
goat.
the spectrum now. Yeah,
or if a girl is extremely attractive, she's bad. Oh, that car's bad.
Yeah.
There's almost definitely some kind of satanic influence about changing words and flipping things around, because what God has set in place, the devil's always tried to come in and
undermine.
Yeah, he undermines it and he turns it into the complete opposite of.
It's like the rainbow.
He perverts it. The rainbow, a symbol, innocent symbol for kids, and God's symbol, and pact with man to never flood the earth again.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've took that and made that the symbol for gay pride. That's a huge... If I was God, that would piss me off so bad that I would flood the earth. I would break the contract, and literally flood the earth again.
Well, he is going to flood the earth
drowning
again,
queers.
This time it's going to be with magma.
I wonder if they fire. I wonder if they drown in gay, like stop, like they're like gasping for air and gay, like
they drown in gay.
I'm gonna give them a safe space.
Oh,
I'm gonna paint the water like rainbow colors that they're drowning in. Like, how do you like that rainbow now? Just cram it like they death by rainbow, the ultimate queer experience.
That's just, oh my God.
Gay.
Oh man.
We're probably gonna be banned on TikTok after this.
Oh, somebody's gonna cancel us.
We don't care. We're also on Rumble. We don't give a shit.
We knew we were gonna be hated. It's fine.
Yep. And the people that ban us or that ban anybody that they disagree with, I think would just get stomped if they faced a real man. Like
100%.
Like, nobody duels like that anymore, hardly. And if they do, they're extremists and this and that, which some cases there are. We're not condoning random violence, but...
Yeah, random violence is never acceptable. That's not right.
But back in the day, you had a quarrel with somebody in the wild, wild west. Like, you go out in the street...
Nope. That actually never happened.
Really?
All that's just a myth, yeah. But... as far as Wild West goes,
don't tell me that.
But like back in the day with like flintlock pistols and swords and stuff like that, people actually did do that, and I think we should bring that back.
No, they had duels.
Because you offend people, you go out and you poke at each other with rapiers, or you have flintlock pistols, and it was all very organized and whatever.
No, they dueled with handguns. Don't tell me any different. It happened.
Not in the West.
It happened.
Okay, if you want to believe
happened.
You want to believe that.
On to the next topic. It happened.
Okay.
They dueled.
All right.
They dueled, yeah. And if we were there, we would have dueled, not with each other. We would have been like a group of bandits.
Just like killing all
dueling.
the duelers.
Yeah. Yep. Cutting off their pee-pee with our bullets.
They didn't do that back then, thank God.
When did that even become a thing? Like, who set that ball rolling to where, like, all of a sudden it just gained popularity and it's normal? Like,
it's just the spirit of the age.
All of a sudden, all of a sudden it just
corrupt
came to a thing, and now it's all of a sudden you can go to school and be a cat.
Yeah.
Bro, if my kid wanted to go to school and be a cat,
throw the kid out.
I wouldn't throw the kid out. I would treat him like a cat. Like, go catch a mouse.
Actually, you know what? There's this funny story I read that there was this kid that was starting to do all that stuff or whatever, and his dad actually started like doing that, and it cured him overnight.
It's the parents' fault, because kids are always going to have imaginations, and really a lot of the biggest problem is that kids are just given the iPad at way too young of an age. Because Susie doesn't want to hear him crying, and she doesn't want to do because she's stressed because they made her coffee Starbucks order wrong this morning, and she had to wait in traffic, and she's stressed out. So here's an iPad because little Johnny's crying, and she doesn't know what to do because she's lazy, and it's time for her to go live on OnlyFans. So she's gonna hand him an iPad, and he can watch whatever he wants, no supervision.
Most parents
be fed
today
all this
take
crap.
a very
He's
detached approach.
He's
to
watching
parenting.
rainbows and what's wrong?
It's a button from my new suit.
He's watching rainbows, and then he just wants to mimic what he sees like any other kid does. That's why all these like new superheroes are all cucks. There's no like strong masculine heroes anymore that these kids look up to. It's all like some cuck, like Zuck the cuck.
It's all a bunch of.
It's all a
fairies.
loser, and then every show is set in such a way that it makes the woman the smart, powerful one. The man's a dumbass cuck. Like, you ever realize that? That's been going on for like 20 years, where the woman comes in and like schools a man, and the man just like, oh, whatever you say, honey. And he's a fat loser.
Yeah.
Small pee-pee.
Or if he's not fat, he's like really skinny.
He's a skinny loser.
No muscle. He's got
He's a skinny loser, and the woman is just, all powerful. She's in control.
Yep.
It's just complete bullshit. All we got to do is take TikTok away and the internet, and then all of a sudden, all these whores aren't going to be able to get all their
If you do away with Instagram, that'll be it right there. TikTok and Instagram go down.
All it takes is for the power grid to go down, and all of a sudden, no internet, and everybody is going to be looking up to all the big, strong men like me and Joe. We're gonna just be whipping out our swords.
We're gonna be balling.
In control. We'll be the next ballers. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. So ladies, find yourself a dude with apocalypse skills.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna get my Uzi and rain. You know what's gonna be interesting though? Like, if a major event happened, the skinny guys in their suits with their Rolex watches and their Lamborghinis, the guys with all this money,
they're not gonna matter.
Aren't gonna, like, a Lamborghini won't be a sign of success anymore. It'll be how much food and water you can literally provide for you and your loved ones, and like a real survival situation.
How secure you can make your people.
Yep.
How well you're able to provide for them.
Yep.
That's what it's going to be.
Exactly. It's going to be true leadership, not, well, I'm going to send this email and tell him if he doesn't work on this spreadsheet and have it done, he's fired. We're going to take away his...
Because literally, none of that stuff is real. Like,
it's really not.
You can't touch an email. You can't smell an email. You can't hand somebody an email. It's not real. People's lives nowadays
cyber command.
Are governed by imagination. All of this is imagination.
Yeah, everyone's a cyber commander. I'm going to whoop your ass inside the metaverse.
Oh, gosh. What are you going to do? Cap me to death?
Yeah.
Type in all caps and let me know you're angry?
Oh,
okay.
I'm gonna kick your avatar cyber character's ass. Inside the metaverse. Ooh.
Pathetic.
Ooh, they're getting sex changes inside the metaverse.
Anyhow.
Gay.
Very. So, Eclipse is coming up. You guys do this information what you will. Personally, we're ready to rock and roll. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get zombies this time.
On the day I was born. Nurses all gathered round.
Keep singing.
And gazed in wide wonder at the big PP they found.
I'm bad to the bone.
Bad.
Oh, man. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about?
Once again, this episode's sponsored by Rattle Energy Coffee and Energy Drinks, rattleenergycompany.com. And it's cool because the rattlesnake is actually stands for two things. One is that when people see a snake, most people think fear, right? It also has been a long-time symbol for rebirth and renewal because what does a snake do? It sheds its skin and it turns into something brand new, and it grows and becomes a bigger, better, badder, asser snake than it was before. That's what the branding is all about. That's what Rattle Energy is all about. You go in, you face your fears, because it's fear that's holding people back. Anything that controls you in life and holds you back from doing anything good and positive to better yourself might be seen as scary, and it might be something you're afraid of. But guess what? If you go in and you face those fears head on with an unparalleled amount of bravery, you're going to come out renewed, rebirth, bigger, better, stronger, and more badder-asser than you were before. So drink Rattle Energy Coffee and become the badass that you can be if you conquer your fears.
Yeah, don't be poor. Go buy like 50 bags and drink.
Yeah, if you want to survive the end of times,
you're going to need energy, so get caffeinated the right way.
Caffeinate, motivate, dominate. The Rattle Energy way.
Hoorah. All right, guys, that's it for this episode. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Watch out for all the moons.
That's right. Stay dangerous.